I was said ですね。上級者の方でも驚かれるかもしれませんが、このフレーズを耳にすることが意外と多いです。誰々に言われたと言いたい場面で使われることが多いですが、実は少し厄介な表現ですね。間違いというより、多くの方が勘違いして使ってしまっている印象があります。簡単そうには見えるかもしれませんが、英語を話す上で意外と難しいポイントの一つと言えます。ただし、実は I was said というフレーズ、100% 間違いというわけではありません。正しく使える場面もあれば、使うべきでない場面でもあります。この動画ではこのよくある誤解の原因を探りながら、I was said が使えるときと正しい言い方について詳しく解説していきますね。一緒に学んでいきましょう。I'll be tackling our topic in 4 logical steps. We'll look at the problem, the reason, the solution, and some example sentences. You ready? First, let's look at the problem. She was said to by her husband that she snores. She was said to by her husband that she snores. Whew! Oh my goodness! This sentence is all over the place. I don't even know where to begin talking about this one. Over the years, I've taught my students over and over again about the fact that this is a messy and confusing way to speak English. But for some mysterious reason, it just doesn't seem to register. How's your day going? Not too bad, I suppose. Something happened? Well, it's kind of personal. If you want to get it off your chest, I'm here for you, buddy. I was said to by my wife that she wants me to make more money. Hang on a sec. You're gonna have to back up a little. What did you say? I said I was said to by my wife that she wants me to make more money. You were said to by your wife. Yeah, I'm said to by her all the time. Okay, so let me get this straight. She wants you to make more money. Yep, that's about it. Right. I get the picture now. So, what do you think I should do? All right, let's have a bit of a brainstorm. Using was said in this way is incredibly confusing for native speakers. They just aren't used to hearing the language being used in this way. So it takes a little bit of time to process in their brains. Even though the last part of the sentence was clear and understandable, we're still thinking about the riddle at the beginning for it to make any sense. Now, the big question is this. Why do so many Japanese learners of English mess this one up? Well, in my opinion, this probably stems from the way the passive voice is used in English versus Japanese, and also how the verb say is used in either language. I'm going to break this down into 4 points. Direct translation from Japanese. To the best of my knowledge, the Japanese verb you can be used to mean both say and tell, depending on the context. But in English, say and tell have specific grammar rules, and you can't directly translate 言われた to was said. Misunderstanding the grammar rules of say. Say is almost always used with a quotation or indirect speech. He said something. She said that I smelled bad. Tell is used for referring to who is being spoken to. He told me something. She told me that I smelled bad. So you can see in these examples, we're using me. It's a very important point when you're using tell. I found that Japanese learners of English often get say and tell mixed up. Because the difference is not quite as clear in Japanese. And this can lead to incorrect phrases such as, I was said by him. Overgeneralization of the passive voice. In English, the passive voice is pretty much limited to certain situations. For example, this book was written by him. But I found in Japanese that passive forms of speech like yuwareta are much more commonly used to describe the actions that affect the speaker. What I'm trying to say is that, and this is an important point, I feel that the passive voice is used a lot more in daily Japanese conversations than in English. The unfortunate result of this is that a lot of Japanese speakers think that the same passive structure can be applied in English. I was said by him. I was told by him. Lack of exposure to natural phrases. The educational system has changed in recent years, but in the past, Japanese learners were taught individual grammar rules rather than natural collocations. So, a lot of people, through no fault of their own, haven't had enough exposure to natural phrases like these. He told me to come nice and early. She said that it was okay. So that's my breakdown of how this kind of thing happens. In the next section, I'm going to give you some more concrete examples of how you can say, she was said to by her husband that she snores. I can't even remember how to say this. It's such a complicated sentence. Okay, but I've still got so much more to tell you. Stay tuned. We need to focus on how we should be using say and tell. In the funny sounding sentence, she was said to by her husband that she snores. There are two ways that you could say this much more naturally. Her husband said that she snores. Her husband told her that she snores. It's as simple as that. Now, another expression that I'd like to clear up while we're on the subject is this little humdinger. Yoku yuwareru. So, how would you say this in English? Think about it. Did you come up with something? The phrase that most native English speakers would use doesn't use say or tell, it uses get. Yoku yuwareru. I get that all the time. I get that a lot. If you translated it as many people say that to me, or I am told that by everyone, it's going to be understood, but it's not my first choice. You know, you look like someone. Ah, you're thinking Brad Pitt, right? I get that a lot. No, I was actually going to say Hagrid from Harry Potter. Are there any cases where you can say something like, I was said? Yes, but you have to add on the be verb. He is said to be the best violinist in the world. This castle is said to be haunted. The book is said to be based on a true story. Natalie Portman is said to be fluent in 5 languages. When we use said to be, in sentences like those, it's usually in formal or neutral contexts. Basically, we don't know if it's true or not, but it's widely reported or believed to be true. In more casual conversations, we use expressions like people say that, or it's supposed to be. People say that 10,000 steps a day is the magic number, but it was actually thought up as a catchy slogan by the Yamasa Clock and Instrument Company in the 1960s. His boss told him that if he were late again, he'd be getting the sack. So instead of saying he was told by his boss, it seems much more natural just to say his boss told him. The expression at the end is a British way of saying getting fired. Get the sack.
Did you send the email?
Diane said that I didn't need to. Something about waiting for things to settle down before sending it, so I'm holding off for now. So when you hold off doing something, it means you just see how things go and then wait a little bit and maybe do it later. I'm holding off for now. Everyone in my family tells me that I should go for a career in modeling, but I'm not sure if I'm cut out for it. The expression cut out for is often used in a negative way, as in not cut out for something. It basically means that you're not a good match or it wouldn't be a very good choice for you. You should try something different, something more suitable. You're not cut out for it. She was told to return the rental car by 11 a.m. But due to circumstances beyond her control, she was 2 hours late. So the expression circumstances beyond my control is basically something which you could not control and you don't really have to take any responsibility for it because it's not really your fault. Circumstances beyond my control. Is there something about you that people always comment on? What do you get all the time? For me, people just don't believe me when I say I hardly ever use Japanese in my job. Yep, I get that all the time. I was said ですね。上級者 I was said ですね。I was said ですね。上級者 I was said ですね。上級者の方でも I was said ですね。上級者の方でも驚か